The strengths of this bike are that it's a very comfortable bike. Once you throw a leg over, it's very easy to adjust to it. It makes you a confident rider early on. There's no obstacle that I felt that I couldn't do on this bike. A little bit of a relaxed geometry, so you kind of have to pay attention while riding it. It takes a little bit more to steer it, but in the same token, it's great because if you miss a turn or don't turn quite as sharp, or see an obstacle, you don't necessarily have to bail as quick because the bike is going to soak a lot of that up. The fork is very nice. I was a little apprehensive solely because it was a coilover, but I found even at my weight, and I'm weighing in at 175, it tracked great. I had no problem dialing it in. I've ridden a couple of other coilover forks on some of the other bikes, not as responsive as this one. Definitely a plus for this bike. Another factor that I would definitely loved about this bike in particular was the tire setup they had on it. Of all the entry-level bikes that we tested, this by far, I felt had the best combo because it was best equipped for all conditions. There wasn't any one condition I felt that it couldn't handle. The only real weakness, and I don't think it's a weakness in the sense of the bike, more maybe so my riding style, would be the uphill climbing. It is a hardtail. However, with the slacker geometry, I found myself having to sit forward on the saddle a little bit more and getting my weight over the handlebar to keep the front wheel down. And then again, with the slacker geometry, I had to pay a little bit more attention to where I was going. Otherwise, I was drifting on the trail a little bit more, as opposed to, I turn, it just wasn't quite as sharp on this bike as it was on some of the other bikes. But again, both of those could attribute back to, my riding style, not necessarily weakness in the bike. But that's what I felt. Best served person is going to be that first time rider. This bike is going to suit that person well. It's going to make them, whether they're an enthusiast or a weekend warrior, they want to go out and do 10 miles or 50 miles, this is a comfortable bike. I'm not telling you can do everything on it, but you can do a lot on this bike, and it makes you feel comfortable and very relaxed. I wouldn't put an experienced rider on it because I think the experienced rider might be looking for something a little bit more, a little snappier. But again, that beginning rider to enthusiast, somebody that just wants to ride once a week to somebody that wants to ride 5-6 days a week and on variable types of terrain will definitely enjoy this bike. The one part that I would replace first on this, to be honest, would be the fork. However, I would keep this fork until it was done. But if I could replace any one, it would be the fork, just for a little bit more comfort. I mean, the bike already rides comfortably for, especially for the amount of money you're spending, but the one upgrade that might benefit this bike the most is going to be the fork. Everything else, definitely a plus. On this particular bike, I did one race. I finished about middle of the pack. I raced the sport class, had a real good time with it. Very responsive. We upgraded it a little bit, changed out a couple of parts, made a huge difference. This bike, or this frame in particular, is very upgradable. You can make it light and definitely race worthy. So this is a bike that you can build off of, even for that enthusiast or entry-level person. If they get to a point in their riding experience where they want to race, you can do it on this bike and be competitive.